As Deputy Mayor of a council in northern Tasmania, Greg Dawson understands the importance of local industry and jobs. But the failure of the region's manganese smelter has had a profound personal impact. He's been a worker there for the past 32 years.
A lot of us that have been there for a long time, you know, we're invested in the site in some circumstances 20, 30, 40 years. We're friends, we're family. Yeah, I suppose everybody's under stress on site.
With creditors owed millions and more than 200 jobs in limbo.
Frank, see you tomorrow. Excuse me, mate.
The Liberty Bell Bay smelter is the latest domino to fall in steel tycoon Sanjeev Gupta's empire known as GFG. His first Australian asset to collapse was the Whyalla steelworks, forced into administration by the South Australian government last year with debts of more than $1 billion. Last month, the New South Wales Supreme Court ordered the Tahmoor coal mine be wound up over a mountain of unpaid debts.
I think a lot of the boys now feel like really duped.
With a young family, Mark Bryant relied on his job at the Tahmoor mine. He and around 400 colleagues were stood down with pay in February last year amid a cash crunch. Promises of new finance to restart production never eventuated, leading to liquidation.
To have 2023-24 financial year, one of your most successful years, to then be sitting here 18 months later, how do you turn something that's such a success into a failure?
GFG Alliance is a collection of global businesses and investments spanning steel and aluminium production, mining and renewable energy.
Once lauded as the saviour of steel, Sanjeev Gupta's global empire has been struggling to stay afloat since the collapse in 2021 of key lender Greensill Capital, founded by Australian financier Lex Greensill.
Mr. Greensill, are you a fraudster?
No, Ms. McDonough, I am not.
The relationship between Greensill Capital and GFG has come under intense UK parliamentary scrutiny, and the UK's Serious Fraud Office is investigating suspected fraud, fraudulent trading and money laundering. The parties have denied any wrongdoing.
One of the problems with Mr. Gupta's empire is the lack of transparency. So we have hundreds of companies around the world, none of them are publicly listed, and so there's a lot of transactions that aren't fully reported.
In Australia, ASIC is facing questions as to why it allowed annual financial statements from GFG companies to fall overdue. Last month, the corporate regulator moved to wind up Liberty Bell Bay over its failure to lodge reports since 2021. The smelter has since been placed in administration by one of its creditors.
Multiple accounts being delayed year after year. That suggests that there are serious financial deficiencies inside the business. Why didn't someone act sooner? Why didn't the regulator act sooner?
Liberal Senator Andrew Bragg chaired a parliamentary inquiry into ASIC which reported in 2024, finding an organisation lacking transparency, slow on enforcement and in need of restructure.
Well, we made about a dozen recommendations and none of those have been responded to by the government.
ASIC has told 7:30 it started its inquiries into overdue reports in 2024 and had taken decisive and timely enforcement action. The regulator has revealed it is investigating individuals related to Mr Gupta's GFG conglomerate. The group's finances are complex because companies transact with each other.
I think ASIC should be asking him and his management team for these various companies about when they suspected the companies might be insolvent. I think they should be asking him about the nature of those related party transactions, because it's possible that the directors of these companies have been acting in breach of their directors' duties.
Taxpayers are facing a hefty bill from the GFG failures. Tahmoor workers will have to apply to a federal scheme to receive the millions they're owed in redundancy and leave entitlements, while the sale of the Whyalla steelworks is being supported by a $2.4 billion state and federal rescue package.
We've seen politicians basically all too happy to stand next to Mr Gupta as the so-called saviour of steel and manufacturing without doing proper due diligence into the nature of his business enterprises. And now that bill has fallen due.
Mr Gupta declined 730's request for an interview, but a spokesman for GFG said the South Australian government's decision to place the Whyalla steelworks into administration had a severe knock-on effect to other operations, creating a series of consequences that proved extremely difficult to contain. Sanjeev Gupta owns a mansion in Sydney's Potts Point. When 730 visited, he was nowhere to be seen. A spokesman said GFG and Mr Gupta deeply regret the impact these outcomes have had on workers and their families.
If he is in the country, he should be kicked out of the country, and if you are still in the country, you can sell your assets. You can, because I know he's got a big house on Potts Point. Everyone knows that. Sell it, pay your debts, and go somewhere else. As far as I'm concerned, you're not welcome. You're definitely not welcome in Tahmoor.
Usually there's quite a bit going on out here.
Back in Tasmania, Greg Dawson is hoping a buyer can be found for the Bell Bay smelter, but worries it might not happen.
I think since the administrators came in, the future is a little bit brighter. If the administration process doesn't continue on and it goes into liquidation, then we pretty much know where that ends.
These are businesses that have been run into the ground over years and in plain sight of regulators and industry participants. At what point do we say someone needs to be held to account here?